Hello and welcome back to the Down the Forest Path Knitting Podcast. Today I want to talk to you about expensive yarn. Well, usually I talk about budgeting a lot on my channel, how to keep costs low for bigger knitting projects, how to budget for yarn and supplies and things like that. But today I want to talk a little bit about the opposite end of the spectrum, about what to do when you have a little bit of money to splurge on something very nice. Over the years that I've been knitting, I found a few very nice independent yarn dyers whose yarn I absolutely adore, and you might have heard of a few of them, but I bet that you haven't heard of all of them. So today I'm just going to take you on a little journey through my yarn stash. I'm currently sorting stuff in my living space and kind of like getting rid of a few old things, primarily old books and stuff like that, but also sorting through my knitting stuff and things like that. So I get to look at it quite a lot and think about it. So I hope you find this useful and you maybe find a few gems of yarn producers that you have never heard before. Two things I should say before I get really into things. So first of all, this video is not sponsored at all. I have not gotten anything from any of the yarn producers in this video to promote their yarns or anything like that. This is just my honest opinion and review. Secondly, I think all of these yarn producers are located either within continental Europe or the UK. But a lot of them ship internationally as well. So while they might not be right next to your door, you will be able to get your hands on most of these, and some of them have free international shipping. I think the first spot on here really has to be for the yarn dyer who got me into knitting with just how beautiful their wonderful yarn colors are, and that is DyeForYarn. It's a small business from Germany, and I have a shawl here that I made from one of the yarns to show you. The shawl was, by the way, a Boo Knits knit along, so the pattern is on Ravelry. I can link it below for you as well. And this shawl, you can just see it's this beautiful kind of muted violet kind of mauve color, and all of the colors are so pretty. They do very few variegated yarns, so if that's not your jam with variegation, then you will definitely want to look at their stuff. They have a lot of different yarn bases. They are on Etsy. They have two stores there. One is called DyeForYarn and the other one is called DyeForWool. This is their cordonette silk, and I've made a shawl with that as well. It's so beautiful. And my favorite of theirs is this wonderful merino silk yak yarn, which is 65% merino, 20% silk and 15% yak. It is 480 meters for 120 grams, so it's a beautiful fingering weight yarn. And I've seen this yarn base in other shops, I think, as well, because I often see this kind of composition percentage wise, and then the 120 gram is like 480 meters, and you can definitely get this yarn base and also it dyed in a different way, like from a different company, maybe a little bit cheaper somewhere else. But the two ladies who run this shop were biologists and molecular scientists before they started this yarn business, and they really know a ton about dyes and things like that, and it really shows because their products are usually so color fast and their colors are so like vibrant and beautiful that it's really worth spending a little bit extra on it. I only had one of their yarns ever run on me with dye, and I've made probably about like 10 to 15 items with their yarns. So this is super high quality dyed product, and if I remember correctly, they also have free worldwide shipping, which is extremely rare. So it's expensive for me because I'm actually kind of next door to them. Their like store is like 2 hours away. But if you live internationally and usually you would pay like 10 euros for shipping, then what are you waiting for? Like, that's really good value for you then. The second yarn producer I want to talk about is also from Germany, and she actually has a business basically up the road from me. It's like, I don't know, 40-minute drive or something like that, and that is Mondschaf. She runs a yarn dyeing business that is located basically in the heart of the Taunus forest next to Frankfurt, and it's a little bit the opposite end of the color spectrum from DyeForYarn a lot of the time. So she has a lot of really bright variegated colorways, but I still find them very harmonious. For example, this one is named Enchanted Forest, and you can see that while there are some very bright bits in here, it kind of all still blends together. So I find that a lot of the time she manages to make colors that are very, very in the face on the first glance, but if you knit them up, you don't have the issues that you have with other variegated yarns where it looks a bit, I've seen people call it clown barfy, but it's quite harmonious and beautiful. I've used her yarn for a lot of stuff. I've had really good experiences with it. I've made a big shawl out of one of her colorways that's called Raven, and it really does just look like raven feathers. I also have this yarn still in my storage. This is 70% wool and 30% silk, and it's so pretty. This yarn base, unfortunately, she stopped offering. So go over there and order some natural yarns from her, because that will probably mean that they get offered more again, so then I can snatch up more of this, because this was really just extremely gorgeous. The next yarn dyer, I was still wobbling around there. The next yarn dyer I want to talk about is Skeinqueen from the UK. She is from the south-ish of England, and she has these gorgeous, like this is in fact also one of hers, colorways that are kind of like, she has a lot of these that are really mildly variegated, and I find that very beautiful because it creates interest in the finished piece, but you can still use it for like lace knitting and things like that. I also really love this one, which was called Wild Plums. She has a variety of bases. Lots of them are natural fibers only. Some of them are with some nylon in. But yeah, if you're into any of these colors, and especially if you're from the UK, you'll definitely find something. Can you hear my cats? I know that she also does open studios sometimes, and she's also at yarn fairs. So if you are from the UK and you would like to see her yarn in person, I think she has a section on her website where you can actually see what kind of stuff she offers and where she's going to be. So give it a look. Next one is, I think, quite well known even outside of Germany. There was a huge hype about them, like I think 5 to 10 years ago, and that is Rohrspatz&Wollmeise. They have the widest variety of yarn colors you could ever imagine. Their bases are not usually super fancy, so you won't find any like lace weight silk or something like that. But if you're looking for a really good merino or a really good decay merino, then you're definitely gonna find it there. And they have a lot of kits with like coordinated colors. This is wound up, so it looks a bit crappy right now, but in general, you get the idea. There's like between, I think, 4 and 10 colors in each of these sets, and they work together super well. They also have a bunch of patterns that would go with them for like shawls or tops and things like that. So if you're looking to bring a little bit more color into your knitting, but you're notoriously bad at color coordinating yourself, then definitely check out their website. I think the small sets are called the Wollmeise Birdies, and they just go together so beautifully. I've definitely just looked at them for color inspiration in general when I wasn't sure about what to make. Something also to know about Rohrspatz&Wollmeise is that they run a competition every, I think, second year. It's a fiber competition, so you can enter it even if you're not knitting, but if you prefer like weaving or crochet. I entered it last time and I lost so badly, it wasn't even funny. But the person who won first prize made this adorable little hippo, and it was so cute. But yeah, like don't, if you're not like the master knitter or weaver, then don't get your hopes up too much, but it's really fun to just participate. And the winner gets to name a colorway usually, which I really wanted to do, but no dice, I think. Yeah, I don't think the website is still up for it, but I think I have pictures of what I made. I was quite happy with it. The topic was gradient, but yeah, I just misjudged my chances massively, and was a lesson, I guess. Yeah. it would have been so fun to name a colorway though, right? But I mean, you can't have everything, and you can have that beautiful yarn by just ordering it from the website. I know they used to have like huge, not issues, but they used to have the thing where you had to be really on it whenever they did updates. You had to know and you had to go on there, otherwise you would miss out on the stuff that you wanted. But now it's gotten a lot calmer, so you can just like go whenever you want to and you'll find beautiful yarn. And then for the last one, this is actually one of my favorite. Yeah, I don't think they would define themselves as indie, but it is kind of niche in the sense that you can't get it in a shop or anything like that. It's not Rowan, and that is Starmore's yarn. You can get it via their website, Virtual Yarns, and she has the most beautiful Scotland inspired colors. They are dyed and the colorways are all named corresponding to the nature around Scotland, and I just really love her yarns. They're all kind of like marbled in a way and tweedy and have specks of other colors in them. Here you can see that this like gray looking yarn is not just gray, but it also has flecks of orange and yellow and green and blue. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I don't find it super expensive. It's very soft. I don't know if you could wear it next to skin. She doesn't do any like smooth, super washy yarns because that's just simply not her thing. But if you're looking for yarn that will hold up beautifully as long as you hand wash it, then this is really it. I have also seen that lots of people use it for felting. So if you knit something and then you felt it, the result with this is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, if you're into anything that resembles more like rustic yarns but without the scratchiness, and you like these kind of Scotlandy colors, I think there might be some other colors. There are some other colors back here, like this for example, or that. This is called Papakei, right? No, this is Mountain Hare. This is Storm Petrel. And this is Pebble Beach. I remember that because that's a beautiful name for it. So if you like any kind of painterly colors, I find them so beautiful just from how they are already coordinated, and you can match them so easily because a lot of the palettes are kind of made to go together easily, so you know that stuff just works. Then don't hesitate and go to Virtual Yarns. They also have a section of the website with inspiration for like woven items, knit items, or creative courses. They also offer the patterns that go with all of this and virtual classes. But yeah, it's just like an amazing display of creativity across like different fiber arts as well. And I am always tempted to get more of this yarn whenever I am in the UK. I have enough. Keep telling myself that I have enough, but whenever I see the website, it's just over. It's just so nice. So this is already it from me this week. This was a relatively short video. I have an update for you, which is that I have started knitting on something for a video again. I did say I am really struggling with my motivation at the moment. I'm just feeling super drained and tired. I think I need to get my vitamin D levels rechecked. In Germany, the winters are quite long and dark. It gets dark really early in the afternoon. Some days it doesn't really get light at all, especially if it's cloudy. And we're coming out of a few weeks with really bad grey weather. And on top of that, we've had this thing called an inversion weather, where the air just kind of gets stuck. So we had a lot of air pollution. So I haven't been out much because, so skip ahead if you want to, but like for anyone who's curious about this, because maybe you haven't heard of this, because in Germany a lot of people still heat with wood ovens, not because they necessarily have to, but because it's kind of cozy. It's like rustic, it's cozy, and it's nice, and it works very well if you live in a rural area where there's not that many houses in one place. But if you live in a suburb or if you live in the city, and then people do it, it produces a whole bunch of wood smoke that then kind of, if there's no wind, it just kind of gets stuck in this bubble of smoke over the city, and it causes a lot of fine particulate air pollution, which is not especially healthy. So I've just been indoors with my air purifier and kind of grumpy because, as I said, a lot of people just use it for the aesthetics, and I feel like you ought to kind of keep a bit of a look on the air quality, and if it's bad, maybe don't do it. But I mean, it's a good right, there's no law against it, so I've not been out much, and I think that's kind of contributed a lot to just feeling kind of drained, demotivated, and worn out by winter. So I think now that it's getting a little bit lighter and the evening starts later, I might try to get outside with my knitting a bit, sit in the like winter sun and let it warm my face, and I hope, but I think I'm being a bit delusional about it. I hope I might have something for you next week, but I think that's not going to happen. So I think I'm going to see you in 2 weeks actually, and then hopefully you'll have a video that should be quite interesting for you, and I will see you then. Let me know what your favorite indie dyers are in the comments. I am sure I missed some of the ones that I also love in here, and I will see you when I see you. I hope you have a good end to the winter and a beautiful start to the very early spring, maybe some early flowers already coming up or something like that, and see you soon. Bye.